Good day, welcome to another episode of The Hub on Galaxy Television. I am Daisy Oluwo. Wonderful day it is, and we're having that same feel in the studio. I've got amazing persons in the house with me today. We'll be talking about something really interesting. Again, yes, you know that's what we do on the show, The Hub. We talk about things that connect to the masses. That's you watching me right now, as well as we in the studio. With the just concluded National Economic Council retreat in Abuja, where the president sat down with so many governors and other persons to review the things happening in the country, the economy of the country. There are promises as to how the power sector will move forward from now and the next 3 years as well. So we're talking about power supply in Nigeria. That's what we're talking about today on The Hub. So very soon we'll get to meet the guests in the studio, but then let's just check out this documentary on power supply, the power sector in Nigeria. Stay with us. The supply of stable power supply to consumers is the backbone of socio-economic growth of any nation. Electric power is the engine that drives industrialization, which improves communication, helps innovation in science and technology, provides sound healthcare delivery system, and improves citizens' standard of living. Before the advent of hydro-generated electricity from the Kainji Power Station, electricity supply in the country was largely by the thermal system. However, the hydro system, ushered in by Kainji in the early 1970s, started giving way to the thermal-dominated system again some years later. This was due to the perennial water flow problem of the River Niger at Kainji, escalating costs of establishing hydro plants and their long gestation lags. Power generation started in Nigeria in 1896, with the first electricity project and power generation plant being in Ijora, Lagos. A recent poll results on the level of public electricity services to Nigerians have revealed that only about 36.4% of the country's 160 million people have seen some improvement in electricity supply in the last 30 months. The result, which was released by NOI Polls Limited, an independent polling agency, showed that for the second quarter of 2015, Nigerians have rarely seen improvement in power supply, even in the face of power reformation programs. A poorly motivated workforce, vandalization and theft of cables and other vital equipment, accidental destruction of distribution lines, illegal connections, and resultant overloading of distribution lines are additional major problems that have been responsible for unannounced load shedding, prolonged and intermittent outages, which most consumers of electricity in Nigeria have had to contend with over the years. Electricity generation in Nigeria is characterized by excess capacity and inadequate supply. Power outages have assumed a very high embarrassing dimension in Nigeria. Almost every house in the country has a generating set. The Nigeria power sector operates well below its estimated capacity, with power outage being a frequent occurrence. There have been countless demonstrations to protest epileptic power supply around the country and high tariff. Speaking on March 21 at the National Economic Council retreat on the economy at the State House Conference Center, Presidential Villa, Abuja, President Buhari lamented that his administration is faced with predicament of privatization of the power holding companies. He revealed that his government has set a target for themselves to generate 10,000 megawatts distributable power in the next 3 years.
In our determination to change, we must and will, inshallah, put a stop to power shortages. In the 3 years left for this administration, we have given ourselves a target of 10,000 megawatts distributable power. In 2016 alone, we intend to add 2,000 megawatts to the national grid.
You're welcome back. It's still The Hub, and today we're talking about power supply in Nigeria. I've got amazing persons in the studio. Yes, wonderful people to talk about power supply this wonderful afternoon. I have Engineer Peter Oyelami in the studio, is the Regional Technical Manager, IBEDC. Yes, you're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
I also have Mrs. Yetunde Adeoti. She is the Regional Commercial Manager, IBEDC. Welcome to the program, madam.
Thank you. Good afternoon, dear viewers.
As well, we have Mr. Diola Shogunle. He's a public analyst as well. He's into estate management. Thanks a lot for coming on the show today, sir.
Thank you.
We're talking about power supply, basically, and from what it's been, how it's been. I know so many persons have talked about this. We've been talking about it for a very long time. The solutions, the challenges, everything happening, and it keeps being the same. I don't know if for you it's getting better or for some other persons it's just the way it is. But today we're going to talk about it as well. Talk about the challenges, talk about the way forward. That's what we want in Nigeria. As the president has said, he looks forward to the next 3 years to meeting targets, basically as regards power supply. So my first question will go to Mrs. Adeoti. It is, how did we get here? The power sector, how did we get here?
Well, power sector in Nigeria has come a very long way and started since the formation of ECN, that's the Electricity Corporation of Nigeria, 1946, and also that was moved to NEPA in 1972, which we are all familiar with, and we have PHCN coming on board in 2005. And ultimately what we have now is the privatized sector, where PHCN was unbundled about 2 years ago. 30th September 2013, certificate of ownership was handed over to private companies in generation and distribution companies. November 1st, the PHCN was unbundled into 18 companies. We have 6 generation companies, 1 transmission company still with government, and we have 11 distribution companies fully privatized. Out of for the generation company, there are 6. The government has 20% stake, while the private investor had 80% stake. For the generation company, like I mentioned earlier, is 100% owned by government, but we have the Manitoba Hydro Company managing the transmission company. For the generation company, which we are all familiar with, we call them, or you call us discos. We are 40% owned by government, 60% by private investors. So like I said earlier, we came in 1st of November 2013. So that's where we are now. So we are fully privatized. Well, I can say because the majority stake is with the private hands, and from inefficiencies now we're trying to make power more reliable, more the unbundling was actually done to make it more manageable, and to give room for efficiency. So this is how power has evolved. This is how we've evolved over the years. Okay,
and now my next question is to Mr. Adeola Sogunle. What do you think about this? This is how the power sector has been, yes, but do you think that it is where it should be? Do you think we're supposed to be here?
No. It has been explained by Madam. Power sector has not been where it should be. Because I know by the time the government is unbundling the sector, their plan is not what we are getting now.
Okay.
But it's not as if we will not get there. It's not as if we will not get there. We will get there. But there are so many things that we need to do for us to get there.
So we're not there.
We're not there
obviously.
Yet. We're not there yet. But there are so many things we need to do. Those are the things that we need to look into now. What we need to do for us to get there.
All right. That's what we're looking into, and that's why that's the reason for this program. Basically, now I'm going to ask Mr. Engineer Peter, now as a technical manager at the regional IBEDC, why can't we have steady power supply in this country? Why can't we really have steady power supply?
Thank you. We could have steady power supply, but looking at the historical background that my colleague gave, it has taken a lot of effort to be able to give power supply to the populace of Nigeria.
Okay.
But unfortunately, where we are today, people are not happy with what the utility company gives out. And the basic reason for this is, one, the political power to be able to do what is right, and the economic power to be able to invest heavily into infrastructure. You see, technically speaking, it involves a lot of money to generate regular power supply.
Okay.
And the intention of the government, which came on board as a result of the 2005 Electricity Reform Act, to unbundle the entire sector, like my colleague had already explained, was for the purpose of giving power supply, of course, qualitative power supply to our customers. But unfortunately, the bane of our problem today I can put it in two forms, like you want to generate, some people are vandalizing pipeline.
Okay.
So how do we give efficient power supply to people when some other people are trying to cut the gas power line? And of course, the idea of people not giving all what it takes, that's the entire people that we call Nigerian populace. We need to give all the support to ensure that we get what we want from the government, and that's the way I will summarize it for now.
All right, Mr. Shogunle, I'd ask this question. Who is responsible for the state of power in Nigeria? What do you think is responsible? Who are we to blame?
We are supposed to blame ourselves.
Okay.
That is we people.
And why is that?
When we talk of people, we talk of everybody, both in government, both the governed, both the followership. We are not taking it, the structure or the infrastructure as our own property.
Okay.
Our home. You understand? So we will not continue to blame, but we want to show the problems, where it lies, and how we can follow it and we can solve it. The problem has been the people.
All right.
Then, when we talk of the people, we talk of the followership, we talk of the government. What are the implementation of the government? How do they implement this unbundling?
Okay.
Do they really invite people, the right people into it? Are the process not politicized? Do we unbundle it and give it to the technical people?
Okay.
And the next thing is that, do we carry people along? The orientation about people to know that this pipe that is passing through my domain is the gas that will give us light.
Okay.
Do we orientate people?
So there's no proper orientation?
There is no proper orientation. People don't know that when they vandalize the pipeline of gas, there's nothing they are getting from it. Instead, they are punishing other people and punishing themselves.
Wow. Okay.
So we should be able to do that orientation for us to move ahead, and for everybody to know that anything, any government property that is passing through you belongs to you, and you have to keep it.
Okay.
You have to secure it.
Okay, so the people actually as well have a very big role to play, as much as the government itself. Now, Engineer Peter talked about vandalism earlier before you did, and I was going to take him on that one. Apart from vandalism, what other challenges are we facing, is the power sector facing? As somebody who's actually a technical manager of IBEDC, what are these challenges they are facing? Because people don't know out there, they feel they don't give us light. That's just what they have on their minds. They say they don't bring light. At the end of the day, they just bring bills and all that. But what are the challenges the power sector is facing?
Oh yeah, if I could just answer that question in a short form, taking it up from what Mr. Shogunle said. You see, talking about stakeholder in energy sector in Nigeria, we have to really come together and address the issue that he mentioned, because it's so key, because greater percentage of energy that we generate in Nigeria today come from gas as a source of generation. And if we must get stable, efficient and effective power supply in Nigeria, this has to be addressed, holistically. And what I mean by that is the people selling, diesel as a source of generation, other source of generation. Are we calling them as a stakeholder? Like you mentioned them as a people, and that is correct. Are we calling the people, the people that are selling petrol to fuel your generator at home, are we calling them as a stakeholder? Then, because the attention for now is on people that bought the GENCO, which we refer to as generating stations, the transmission, which belongs to government, and the disco where we work. But it doesn't stop there. The whole thing has to be holistic. The stakeholder meeting or the stakeholder or the standing has to cut across people that deals with alternative power. Are they ready to give out to Nigerians and say, Nigeria, come and have a good power supply, so that we can give out we can give it into what we have, as to have Nigerian having good power supply. This is one of the key things that we need to look into in Nigeria today, to have good power supply.
Okay, thank you for that one. We'll talk about the privatization as well, but before then I want to be able to understand this. Some people do not understand when you say IBEDC. They think that's all there is to power supply. Now, Mrs. Adeoti, can you just break down this for everybody watching at this moment?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I mentioned earlier, the PHCA was unbundled, and I'll just give us an example, a life situation that everybody can relate with individually. Most Nigerians have a generating plant at home. Either it's the big one or the small neighbor type. You have a generator. So that generator can be likened to what I call the generating companies. Like I mentioned earlier, there are 6. You have Egbe, you have Sapele, generation company, 6 of them. And also, before you can transmit what is coming from your generator, when you put it on, you need a cable from your generator to either your changeover or the wall socket. That's the transmission company.
Okay.
So that's the transmission company of Nigeria. And then when it gets to your house, some of us have 10-bedroom apartments, some have 3. You have different switches. So that's what we call, those switches are your distribution companies. And then you can now decide that, look, I want to switch on the switch in my sitting room, or I want to just give a particular segment of my house. Maybe the generator is actually to like 5-6 apartments like you have in some estates. Then you can decide, okay, let me switch on this apartment A and leave the apartment B. And okay, within the apartment, the person living in the apartment can also decide that, oh, I'm in the sitting room now, I want to watch TV. You can go and switch on your television set and direct the energy appropriately. That's the way we are operating as the sector. That's where the sector operates.
More like a chain.
Energy value chain. Yes. It's a chain, right from the gas supplier to the generating companies to the transmission companies. Then you have what we call the market operator. And we are also being regulated by NEC. They're also part of stakeholders here in the value chain, and then the energy comes to the discos, that's the distribution company, through the transmission company. And so that's a value chain. So, but most people, like Daisy said, we say, oh, there's no light. They come to us and say, you're not giving us supply. But we cannot give what we don't have. We can only give you supply if the transmission company has been able to get generation from the generation company, and then they evacuate the energy to us, and then we now channel it appropriately. It is noteworthy to note that it's our own interest to actually give you that supply, because when we don't give you supply, we lose out. We are just collecting agents. All discos are only collecting agents, and from whatever bill you're paying, we only get 25%. And you can imagine we're not able to collect, we'll not be able to get that 25%. So the more we give to you, the better for us.
Okay, all right, thank you for that breakdown there. Now, I'd ask more questions. I will just take a quick break to just check some facts and figures out there about how many megawatts we do need and how many we're actually having at the moment. We'll come back, we'll take more comments from our guests in the studio. Stay with us. You're welcome back. You're still watching The Hub on Galaxy Television. I am Daisy Olu, and I've got amazing guests in the studio talking about power supply in Nigeria. Now, Nigeria's power sector currently has less than 8,000 megawatts of installed capacity and less than 6,000 megawatts of available capacity, with only about 4,000 megawatts of regular power. That's 4,000 going through the grid. Now, Mr. Shogunle, I'd asked this question. With what Mrs. Adeoti said before the break, we have different bodies actually helping to regulate and also distribute, transmit and all that. It sounds to me like division of labor. It's supposed to be a good thing. But what are we still doing wrongly? What are we not doing? What's happening? What do you think, in your own opinion?
We just look at the stages, as she mentioned. You have your generator in your house, but you don't have fuel to power your generator.
Okay.
No diesel, no petrol. You have to go and queue in petrol station to get it. So it means that night you are going to sleep in the dark.
Okay.
You understand? So it means if you don't have enough gas to generate enough electricity, forget it. No generation.
Okay.
The thing will drop. Then after generating enough for your apartment, you now want to move to stage of consumption.
Okay.
You understand? That is transmission. So the cable that will transmit to your apartment got spoiled. It means all those things generated, they are wasted for that time.
Wow.
You can't store it. They are wasted. You understand? So transmission too must work perfectly for us to be able to evacuate all those things that we have generated.
Transmission.
Yeah, transmission must work perfectly. You understand? Now it now gets to distribution. How am I going to distribute perfectly? Equitably.
Okay. That everybody can be a part of it.
Everybody can have feel of it, share of it. We don't have enough, but the little I have, how am I going to distribute it? I know that the distribution company are not in a position to stop distribution if they have. Why? Because the transmission company will come and ask them, those megawatt I transfer to you, you have to pay.
You have to pay for it.
And if you don't distribute it, how
you can't get money to pay for it.
So it means they can't hold it. And anything they receive is not something you can keep under your bed or keep in the storage. If you don't use it that moment, it will go with the air.
Okay.
That is the thing. So if you generate in your house and you don't use it, your generator was just on. You don't power it, you don't transmit it, you don't distribute it. You can't go back and say, those things that my generator generated, where are they? Or the fuel they use, where are they? So there's no way you can use it. So our transmission must work perfectly.
Okay.
Let us look at the problem we are facing with our transmission. You understand? Okay. So from there, we'll be able to send to the distribution. The DISCO will now know this area, do they have genuine transformer? Can their transformer work perfectly for them to be able to transfer into the various homes? So that is their own duty. So the DISCO, the transmission company, they must work perfectly, not only to generate. If you generate, how am I going to get
transmit and distribute as well?
That's the thing.
Okay, so we're saying that there's need to strengthen the transmission grid in the power sector.
Yes.
I know, Mrs. Adeoti, you talked about 40% government, 60% privatized earlier when you're talking about how we got where we are in the power sector. Privatization is supposed to bring about efficiency in the sector, but we're having a different scenario playing. Why is it like that?
Well, I think it boils down to our view. Because a lot of people, by the time we go out, we engage them and let them know that, look, we are not fully in control of the entire chain. It's a value chain that everybody must play their own part. Okay. And people are like, oh, really? In fact, when you tell them, you know that we buy this energy from the generating company through the market operator. Wow, that's news. So you see, the part for the DISCOs is actually minute. Because really, the DISCOs all over the nation is fully privatized. You have the 11 of them, and I can assure you that there's efficiency in that sector. A lot has been done even within these 2 years plus that we've been in existence. We've metered quite a number of our customers. When we did our 1 year, IBDC now, that we roll out 100 transformers, but a lot still needs to be done. Okay. A lot of funding is required in this sector for this power to be adequate, for us to get the quality that we're looking for us to get the amount that we're looking for. A lot of infrastructure needs to be put in place. We have some transformers, they're 60-year-old.
Wow.
And we need to replace them.
Okay.
So I would say that there's a lot of, I'm sure viewers, if they have to look before 2013 and now, as things
the difference.
Yeah, I would say we listen more. We have a customer care team that listen to your complaint. We are currently doing a free meter rollout to our customer to replace obsolete meters, because normally once your meter is obsolete, the meter's lifespan is just about 10 years, maximum 15, that meter should be replaced. But we have meters that were installed 1975.
Okay.
1960, you see all these our black electromechanical meters is out there. We all know how they look, you know. So we need to replace all those. So we are doing it in phases. Don't worry, we haven't got into your area. We will still do, but we are replacing obsolete meters, faulty meters, so that you won't feel cheated. You won't feel like, oh, I'm paying for what I've not consumed. Yeah. So you only pay for what you have consumed. So even if a disco has decided not to give you supply for 2 months, you don't have to pay for what you have not consumed. So if it's just 10 units, you pay for that 10 units, and I'm sure you will be happier than if you have to pay estimated bill or a fixed consumption billing. We are also, recently the tariff also changed.
Okay.
And that was to cater for some of these problems we're talking about.
Okay.
Because for this sector not to actually break down, for it not to go into history, not to like, oh, it once were privatized.
Okay.
You know, a lot of funding has to go into place. Now we all must support the increase, because the increase is meant to take care of our obsolete equipment, and also to pay for the people supplying us, the gas supplies, the generation companies, because really we've not been able to pay them. And if we cannot pay them, they cannot pay their gas supply.
All right, now Mr. Aditi, let me just pause you on that one. I'll come back to the electricity tariff, but something just struck me now. If estimates show that Nigeria needs about 20,000 megawatts to about 40,000 megawatts over the next 3 decades. I'm going to put this question to you, Engineer Peter, sir. Yeah. And then the president just said on Monday, the next meeting that he had, that he looks forward to be able to provide 10,000 in the next 3 years. Is this achievable? In your view, is it achievable?
Yeah, personally, I think it's achievable. And the reason why I said this is because we have about 21, today in Nigeria, we have about 21 generating station that runs on gas.
Okay.
And about 60% of this total generating station are really giving out power to Nigeria.
Okay.
And the remaining 40% might be due to all kind of problem that's associated with gas supply and all the rest of it. So if federal government, like our president has said, that in 2019 we should be able to push out 10,000 megawatts. This is very, very possible if we fix the area of those that vandalized, and if government actually, through NAC, which is a regulatory body, ensure that every stakeholder play their part. Like Mr. Shogun has said, there has to be expansion in infrastructure.
Okay.
There has to be rehabilitation of the existing infrastructure, and in all of the sector, from generation to transmission and to distribution. And if I could refer to what Mrs. Adeoti said, in our own case in Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, a lot has been done, a lot is being done. She mentioned, you know, what investment we have put in place, and before we started this program, we just told our colleague here that he's going to partake of the free meter. That's to tell you that it is real. In Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, we have started, and it's an ongoing thing. Infrastructure expansion is ongoing, meter rollout is going, and of course, the other aspect of it that could make it a reality is support of the entire populace of Nigeria to pay their bill, because the sector is actually a sector that require a lot of investment. And if you and I respond to our payments, then the investor will be able to have enough to plow back to the system. Okay. So the target of the president for 10,000 megawatts in 2019, I think is very possible. Achievable. Don't forget, we have other source of power generation. We have the hydro. There's a plan to have solar farms. Yes. We have wind farm, and if all of this can be put together, honestly speaking, 10,000 megawatts is achievable. Okay.
Now, Mr. Shogule, I'm putting that question as well to you as a public analyst with everything going on in bar sector. I don't want to talk as somebody in the sector, because you're definitely not in the sector. But I want you to think about it. Look around. I'm sure you've had talks, discussions with your family members or with your friends about the state of power in Nigeria. Do you think in 2019 this is achievable?
I believe that the president just gave us the minimum that is achievable.
Minimum, okay.
Yeah, that 10,000 is minimum.
Okay.
We get more than that. That is, if we put all things in place.
But do you think we will be able to put all things in place?
Number one, you understand, we have to identify where we're coming from.
Okay.
Where we are. How do we get to where we are? And then address the problems one by one. Number one, why should we have gas vandalism? Why? The question I want to ask is that gas pipeline pass some community. Do those community connected to national grid?
Okay.
Do they have electricity?
Okay.
Because if you have electricity, you understand, and you have a pipe passing through, and people are telling you that this pipe provides the electricity you are enjoying. Would you go and
should we go and just bust it?
I could remember the first waterworks in Nigeria was in Lagos, Iju Waterworks. When it was installed, the people in Agege, where Iju is, they don't have pipe-borne water. And people in Kogi are enjoying pipe-borne water.
They have.
So are they being the set of people that we have now? Do you think the people in Kogi will enjoy that water?
Okay.
But if you carry a pipe, pass through my village, and that pipe is going to generate
to serve me.
Other people in about 1,500 kilometers away.
Yeah.
And I will continue to look at that pipe. I will not give the security. You don't need security for those pipes, but just give what is due to those community.
Good. Okay.
Address that one, number one.
Okay.
Then number two, we have the grid power and the non-grid sector.
Okay.
Make a law, a enabling law that will encourage non-grid generation of electricity.
Okay, non-grid.
If you have an housing estate, why can't you come together and generate your light, your electricity?
The residents of
yes, and they put it in a grid, in national grid.
Okay.
So you monitor it. Can't you do it? You can buy gas. Gas can be transported to that estate by road, because we have a lot of companies now. You understand?
Yes.
That they don't use LPF to power their generator and their production line again. They now use gas. Gas is not being laid through the pipe. It always comes through the vehicle. So we can do it in estates too. We can do it on our streets. You can talk together on our street and say we don't want IBDEC again. We want to generate our own life. There is a law, a new law, that we don't need NEC license to do it. Can't we do it? Dangote promised that the refinery is constructing after it will generate 12,000 megawatts. Is it not possible?
Okay.
Huh? Then also, sir, why can't we try as much as possible to establish the gas generating company near where the gas supply is?
Okay.
Why do we have to power gas from Niger Delta to Kogi State to power Gerebu power line?
Okay, Engineer Peter, is that possible?
You see, that's a possibility. Okay. But one thing that we need to understand as Nigerian, and looking at it from the technical point of view, is that we have what we call load center.
Okay.
Do not forget, if we take our generating station, all of our generating stations to the south, then we will have to transport or wheel the same power back again. And once you have energy traveling at certain distance, it starts to drop what we call losses on the line. And these are the reason why the quantum of energy that is used in a particular area is considered to site the generating station in a particular location, so that you can have an effective load center, so that you won't have so much losses. Because if you use your money to now generate electricity, you are expecting to have a 10 volt at the end of the consumer point, but in the course of weighing the power, you now have 5 or 6. Then it makes nonsense of your investment. So that is the reason why a lot of losses will have been gone on the line. So that's the reason why in siting our generating station, we consider where majority of this load are being consumed.
Why is it that the state government cannot generate the electricity needed in their states?
Fine, that's to my question.
Because Lagos states power their own secretariat with their own electricity generation, non-grid. It's not in the national grid.
Yeah.
So why can't the state government also do that? If we can come up with all that kind of thing, we will surpass 10,000 in 3 years.
Well, can they be a part of this?
Honestly, why not? Because you see, in Oyo State, for instance, I will not be able to be specific. I know we have few dams around Oyo State, and of course, if our Excellency Governor Ajimobi is interested in power business, because it's actually business.
Yes, of course.
Forget.
It's
and if he so desire to go into what we call independent power producer, the license is there, and NEC will give such license, and it makes life comfortable, because they might not want to generate so much large volume of electricity, but the little that those dams, I know we have I can't recall the names now, but I know we have some dam in Oyo State which can be used to power few location, the secretariat and some other locations. But honestly, because we are resident in Ibadan, it might not need to do that. Why do I say that? Our company, IBEDC, we are going into what we call embedded generation. And embedded generation is just to describe what Mr. Shogunle said the other time, that a community could just come together. But for you to come together, we will take that pain off you. We want to now, in fact, the process is about reaching the concluding part now that, it's been gone out in the paper.
Left out.
The contractor has already submitted their proposal. And in another few months, we have our own generation in several locations within our franchise, where generation will be made rather than transporting it through transmission. Where you have all this infrastructural decay and all the kind of excuses that we have, we don't need that. We use our own line to just wheel it to the customer. The power situation will be very reliable, it will be efficient, and it will be 24/7. Our company is just at the verge of concluding that project as we speak. So
I'm saying Ibadan people should be expectant of that.
Oh yeah, and like my colleague said, do not forget, it takes a lot of money to go into those investments. We want to encourage Ibadan people that what we give today, we want you to pay. Because if you don't pay, it becomes difficult for our own investors to be able to invest into those good idea that will give qualitative supply. All
right, now I believe people want to also have this assurance that whatever they're paying for is going to be of optimal satisfaction to them, and that's why we'll talk about the electricity tariff now. Mrs. Adeoti, I'll come back to you. Despite the electric supply, the epileptic electric supply, people still complain of high tariff. Why is this? Is it like that?
Well, the tariff, like I said, is to prevent the collapse of the sector. And to ensure that we give adequate power supply to our customers. When we came in more than 2 years ago, we have series of revenue shortfall. In fact, we're not breaking even as a company. So the increase is to mitigate against the risk of total collapse. And I want us to support the new tariff, because the increase really will take care of the provision of new infrastructures, provision of replacement of obsolete equipment. And I also want our viewers to know that energy, the cost of energy, like I mentioned earlier, we buy this energy has increased by 46%.
Wow.
And it has completely eroded even our increase. The highest increase that has been done is 43. The increase was tiered. So the highest is 43%. So that has eroded the increase. Don't forget that the residential basically is the lowest of our tariff. The manufacturers,
the companies, industries,
pay more. And so that's the highest is 43. And that increase has actually eroded it. But we are still, despite all this, we are still positive and we're confident that we'll be able to get that power across to our teeming customers. And also, it's noteworthy to note that we bear the biggest burden. Yes, because we face you and we listen to your complaint. One of the complaints has always been about fixed charges.
The fixed charges.
Why is it that I traveled outside for 6 months to see?
I come back and I see bills.
Yes, and I see bills I have to pay. The bills kept accumulating. When I went for the people with BPM, I went to recharge my meter, and what they took first was the 11 months fixed charges, and customers are really very unhappy. So we have listened to you, and we have taken that revenue risk by removing fixed charges. So from February 1st, that fixed charge was abolished. So now you only pay for what you consume.
Okay, I think that's supposed to be relieving to people. But then I know should I say I'm one of those persons who do not enjoy power supply wherever it is I live? Yes, I do not. And I'm wondering, I spend so much buying fuel to power my generator, and yet we don't have power supply. It's really frustrating. I know how some other persons might feel, and this is why I decided to just come together. Let's bring these persons together, and we have taken time out to talk about power supply. I actually want people to get enough orientation as to what power supply really is all about. Some people do not know. They just feel they want to sit down in their houses and then see the bulbs come on, like they have light and the rest of it. So now let's just talk about the way forward. What do you think as a country we can do to improve power supply? I really want to be a part of this target the president said. I want to be able to witness it as well, be a part. I don't mind being a stakeholder though. But what can we do? What's the way forward to having a better power supply in this country? Mrs. Adeti, we'll start with you.
We can't overemphasize funding. Adequate funding. Like I've said, and Engineer Olami has said too, we need you to play your part. Everybody, you must pay your bill promptly. Because it's that same money that is going back to replace our obsolete equipment. Some vandalization, we have to,
correct them.
And also want everybody to be at alert. We must also watch over our infrastructures. And let's shun illegality. And basically, some people connect illegally. They don't want because everybody don't want to pay on free amenity. So we must shun illegality. Be a good citizen. Pay for what power is consumed. For what power you have consumed. Also report any act of illegality. Maybe your neighbor or somebody is connecting legally. Come report to us. Lines are open 24/7, and you can be sure that we'll take the corrective action. So it's basically funding the sector. Because I know we have a good team. I also know that we are motivated to make sure that power gets to our customers.
Okay, now Mr. Shobole, apart from funding, what other thing can we do to enhance, to make sure our power sector in the country moves forward?
Number one, Madam has mentioned the major thing.
Yeah, she said funding.
If you are into any business, it's to make profit.
Definitely.
You understand? So if there's no return, there's no way you will encourage investors, other investors to come in. Let's look at the telecommunication industry when it was privatized. What happened? We were paying 50 naira per minute.
That's true.
50 naira per minute, you realize? I bought my MTN line there, 15,000 naira. So how much are we buying? Are they not being given?
Yeah, definitely.
Why? Because that sector was attractive. People were not complaining that it was high tariff. So why should I call a second and
50 naira, People
are not complaining. You understand?
Yes.
Everybody wants to
be a part of this calling buyer time.
That is the thing that we should put into this
power sector.
Okay. If we know the importance of power to us, as a company, as an individual,
As a
as an area, you understand? We should be ready to make sure that that sector is profitable.
Okay.
If it is profitable, we will attract more investors. You know, those people that started it took risk.
Definitely.
And there are some people looking, a lot of people has license, but they're just looking at the operator. They are returns, you understand? Before they can invest.
They can be a part of it.
So if it is not attractive, people will not invest.
Okay.
We have to bear the brunt first for us to enjoy later.
Okay.
Yoruba said, titari wo la kola. To buy the you know the meaning.
Yeah.
That is when we want to put mark
On the face.
It's painful.
But then afterwards.
But when it's got beautify the face. So we should face it now
Okay.
by paying what we should pay. You understand? I remember the power minister said,
Yes.
because the then they did not take the pay, the political pay, to rightfully fix the charge when we started. That was why we had this problem. It was on the charge.
Yeah.
Because they just want to go out. Maybe because they have political connection in those people that they handed it over to.
Okay.
You understand? So, but when they are now empty in it, they know that they cannot make even. So, it's for us now as people. That's why I said everything boils down on people. We have to encourage, we have to support. We now understand that it's not only the school that share the money they receive.
The other bodies that generating the translating.
They are just collecting them and distributing it.
Okay.
So we should now look at it that way, that we need to pay for us to enjoy. Yes, they say there's no pain
Without fear, no pain again. True.
So it's the pain we need to follow, so that by the time we look at this 3-4 years, we see a lot of people coming in, and we see the prices, the tariff coming down.
That's true. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty detailed, and I'm sure everybody got that one. Now, Mr. Engineer Peter, in your own words, what's the way forward?
I want to suggest holistic
Approach.
stakeholder approach. Not only the DISCO, not only the Transisco, not only the GENCO, but also let the entire Nigeria put Nigeria first.
Okay.
Do not think of how much you want to gain from either political gain or financial gain and bust out gas pipeline.
Okay.
I think this will really help us at this stage now to be able to meet the president target.
Okay. All right. Now, I believe you've heard for yourselves, and this is what I would say, as usual. Always try to do the right things, basically, and things will be very easy for you. Now, the truth is, so many sectors in the country are going through a lot. You don't want to know, from the power sector to other sectors, transport. So many sectors in the country are going through a lot at this point in time. We're having what we call economic recession in the country at the moment, and it is very, very not convenient for the masses. It's not convenient for us. So in order to make ourselves comfortable, I think you have to stick with the rules, regulations, the right things. If you have to pay your bills, pay at the right time. If you have to be at a particular place, be at that particular place. And this is as well to workers in different bodies, all these organizations. I think it's time for us to understand that we need to also do very much, because I believe it boils down to workers as well. Some of the staff in your organization, IBEDC as well, I think they need to do better, because sometimes they come to somebody's house to do something, and they just do not even tell the consumers what they want to do or why they're doing what they want to do. They just go all on them. So you see them referring to them, calling them names, saying so many bad things about them. So I think it's okay to just take things easy with the masses as well. They do not know, that's why. If they knew, maybe they would take a different approach towards how they relate with the people in the power sector. This is the much we'll be taking on the hub today. Do not forget to be a part of this. You can always send your comment. You've listened to everything we've had to say today. The Twitter handle is @Galaxy TV Ibadan, and Facebook, the page as well is Galaxy Television Ibadan, Nigeria. Daisy Oluwa, I'll catch you guys next week. But before we go, I'd love to say a very big thank you to my guest in the studio, to Mr. Shobune. Thanks so much for being on the show. He's a public analyst, and also he's into estate management. And Mrs. Yetunde Adeoti, she's the regional commercial manager, IBEDC. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And Engineer Peter Oyelami, the regional technical manager, IBEDC. Thank you so much for being on the program today. I will see you next week. Friday. Take care of yourselves and have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead of you. Bye.